When your team needs IT help, it is important to deliver that support as quickly, efficiently, and securely as possible. In this session, we will touch on the basics of remote control for support, how to not disrupt an end user to deliver support, and how remote control can maintain security and persistence through troubleshooting efforts. All of these enable your support personnel to deliver faster, more secure support and a less disruptive experience to your team. Hi, my name is Nate, and this is Jeff from Mitek Partners. Welcome to an episode of Mitek Co-Managed IT Services, where today we're discussing nuances of remote support and remote control for faster, more secure, and a better support experience for your team. Now let's get started with exploring the key problems. Now, at first glance, Jeff, this seems obvious. Of course, I'm in IT. I've been doing remote support for years. So why are we talking about remote support today? So can you just at least touch on some of we're going to start with the basics, but then we're going to get into some of the nuances that really can really amplify the efforts of your support team by leveraging some remote control tools and capabilities.
One of the issues that you have to deal with is making sure that you can securely support servers and workstations both virtually and physically. So from the standpoint of remote control and server support, RDP is a very insecure connection, or can be very insecure. So if you have to lock that down as a company, using a tool that you can remote control with is going to allow you to be able to connect to those machines securely and not have to worry about leaving those ports open. It's an easy way to troubleshoot what you need to do without having to use RDP.
Yeah, and so I think, one of the things that I also want to state a little bit of the obvious, that's a common tool that's been used for a long time, and that there's oftentimes in environments that are locked down.
Yes.
But the other part about it is, again, if you're an IT person, maybe I'm even in the same building as the person that I'm supporting, okay, sure, you can walk over to their desk, but what if you have multiple facilities? What if you're working from home? What if what if it's a weekend? So like all these things apply too, where it's not just if I'm just sitting in the next building. So that really leads us to about now you're supporting the end users. There's some nuances about not being supporting them without disrupting them. There's some security layers that we want to consider about remote support if you're dealing with confidential information like executives or HR. So let's start there. Let's talk at a high level of go to the nuances of supporting an end user.
Well, let's focus first on the idea of disrupting, right? So if you're walking around and you have to actually support somebody's computer, you're going to walk up, you're going to basically pull them out of their job,
right,
and they're not going to be able to use their computer.
That's right.
So remote control tools allow you to connect to that person's computer without having to take them out of working.
Even if you're in the same building and you could, the idea of pulling them away from the machine is something that causes disruption.
Yes.
Right.
So let's do an example and I can show you what that's going to look like. So let's say we have the PLY10. So I need to control that person's computer. You launch the remote control tool and it's going to pop up and show right away that we've connected. Now I'm not disrupting the user, they can still work. And it even tells them that I'm connected, so they know that I'm connected, but I can go into different aspects of the system to get information to troubleshoot. There's a full command line, there's a PowerShell command line, so you can run commands through PowerShell. You can transfer files back and forth, specifically log files. If you want to grab log files that are from certain applications, you can pull them back and review them to see what the errors are. You can look at all system info, which allows you to grab event logs that are in system logs without having to connect to the machine, and even allows you to do remote registry and make registry changes, again, all without having to pull the user away from the computer and disrupting them.
So I can tell you that if not all end users are like me per se, but I can tell you that if you're a busy person, one of the things that I struggle with is actually finding time to support the thing, unless my computer is just down. Mm-hmm. If there's just a nuance that needs to get fixed, I would rather have the IT team support me remotely than having to not be in front of my machine.
Yes.
So I love that capability. So there's one other piece though that you mentioned, and I want to point out that for those watching the video, Jeff illustrated how there is a little indicator that he is connected remotely. So I'd like you to envision right now, what if you're or how do we handle this, Jeff, or what are some of the capabilities? If you're an executive and maybe you have some confidential documents up, or an HR person or a financial person, so if I'm an IT person just connecting remotely and this is the first screen they see, I could have any number of confidential documents or information showing, and I wouldn't necessarily want my IT person to see that information. So how can we protect against that type of challenge when the IT team has the obvious capability of easily connecting remotely?
So the Take Control sessions, you can actually set it so that the person that you're connecting to requires giving permission before you can actually connect, which will prevent those confidential files that could be up that you wouldn't be able to see them. So let's take a look and see what that looks like. So let's say I'm connecting to this Windows 11 machine and that's the CEO. When I go and I click on the connection, it's going to launch the control, but it's going to tell me I'm waiting for remote authorization. So let's just go take a look at what that looks like to the user. This is that user's computer. It pops up a screen that is asking for permissions to connect. Once they click yes, then that session, now they can see their screen. And pops up letting them know they're connected.
Let them know there. That's awesome. Again, people might be thinking, well, if they're an IT person, they might have admin capabilities to see those files anyway. That's true, but there is an inherent trust that needs to exist between the end users and the IT team.
Yes.
And this is one of those ways in which you can give confidence to the executive team or anybody who's handling confidential information to have another layer of protection if that's something that you're interested in. Mm-hmm. So that's great, Jeff. And that's the majority of it. The other thing that you mentioned that I want to hit on, because I don't think we hit on it well enough, is you talked about how you can watch their screen, because where you can really not only just connect remotely to do things behind the scenes, but being able to walk alongside someone and so you can see the problem that they're experiencing.
Yeah, in traditional connections like an RDP session, when you do that connection point, it either pulls their screen away, locks them out so they can't see what's going on, but then you're not able to have them show you what's happening. So within these remote control sessions, you can actually see the screen and they can be on their machine saying, hey, show me when you open that application, what is the error? Yeah. And as they're doing that, you can see it on your screen and they can show you where those errors are. So it allows for that side-by-side working together to try to resolve if you have to.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where you could be looking over their shoulder physically,
yes.
But this is a way where you could be doing that virtually, and as well as all the other remote control pieces. So that's great. Thanks for illustrating that. So the last piece we really want to hit on is when you're troubleshooting, and again, I'm speaking to the IT person here who might be working from home. It might be an evening or weekend, because a lot of times that's when maintenance windows are. And let's say something goes bump in the night. When you're troubleshooting, one of the things that's hard is after doing reboots and how are you securely connecting, those kind of things. So can you talk a little bit about that, Jeff? Because that is something that I know really helps an IT person in their troubleshooting efforts.
Yeah, there are times that you're going to have to restart the computer in order to troubleshoot what you're doing, and you want to be able to reconnect without a problem. So if I'm connected to this machine, the minute that I reboot, it's going to pop back up, and you can have an option to do multiple things. Like, big thing for an IT person to be able to restart and then start into let's see here, actions. Oh, I'm on the wrong one.
Yeah,
sorry.
You're the wrong one.
I'm on the
you're
VM.
seeing the same thing.
So if you want the operating system, I want to take that session and I'm going to restart or shut down, it gives me the option to select a restart and reconnect. If I need to start in safe mode, which is an IT person's dream to be able to do that remotely, or just shut down the computer altogether. And once you hit restart and reconnect, it asks you, should I do this? And at that point, that remote machine is going to restart. When it comes back up, that session will maintain itself and I'll come back in and I can get connected.
That's awesome. I think that's one of the things that I know I've heard complaints about that from some of our colleagues over the years, when they weren't using tools like this. But look, I know remote control seems relatively basic, but hopefully this gave you some of the nuances of how you can help support your end users more effectively and securely and faster. So look, we hope you enjoyed this Mitek Co-Managed IT Service episode on remote control for faster, more secure, and better support experience for your team. If this session was helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for future MyTech content. And feel free to check out mytech.com for more resources on Microsoft 365, cybersecurity, Copilot, digital productivity, strategic IT planning, and everything else we do to make IT easy for our clients. Thanks again for watching. We hope to see you again soon. Until then, be productive and stay secure.